Every possession has a story. Some treasured keepsakes, others not so much. Some unknown or largely forgotten. Nowhere will you find more stories of things and people than at a pawn shop. Kevin MAKI has our Montana moment.
It's a typical morning at downtown Pawn and Gun in Missoula, which means nothing is typical.
I know everybody from lawyers down to the homeless people that we deal with every day.
CODY COWART's owned and operated the shop for 13 years. The Missoula native has degrees in business and accounting, but running a pawn shop is much more than transactions.
It's a very intriguing world to me.
Pawnbroker James NEWSTROM comes from Troy, Montana. He never dreamed of working in a pawn shop.
It'll be 3 years next month that I've been here.
He's been a tattoo artist and bartender, which means he likes people.
You are the shoulder to cry on and also the wallet that they don't have.
Lee Busby buys and sells items all the time. He says with his health problems, money is always tight.
They're like my family. No one actually gives a damn.
CODY's friend Donna Klusner has been coming here for years. Donna's been staying at a local shelter.
My brother and I wound up at the shelter because he got massive frostbite on his foot.
The shop has a lot of items for the homeless.
I bought a couple of the backpacks from here.
I know the homeless people on definitely a different level than most people. I know a lot of them by first name basis.
Bye, guys.
Behind the desk hangs a helmet, the headgear of CODY and James' late friend Lee Nelson, who was recently murdered.
He was just a real happy-go-lucky, nice guy.
Lee's helmet will stay here in his memory. NENA and her brother James sold items for gas money so NENA could get to work.
Running on a lot of nothing and trying to do a lot of staying alive. You can't go anywhere, you know.
But CODY says through the pandemic, the shop has actually kept pretty busy. He saw people who had expendable income because they weren't going out.
Everybody wanted bikes, kayaks, any sort of outdoor gear because everybody had more free time.
Everybody seemed to want musical instruments.
Picking up guitar was one of those things that they decided to do. You can go all the way from Sea of Love up to like Bad from Michael Jackson.
How many songs have been written about pawn shop wedding rings?
People come in and buy their wedding rings here, and yet sometimes that love fades away and we end up with gold bands here.
Customers are always buying and selling guns.
People seem to need a gun like they needed toilet paper at the beginning of COVID.
Ordinary guns, unique guns like this Winchester, which was only made from 1911 to 1925 because it was so dangerous. They called it the Widowmaker.
You get to see a different piece of life every day, especially downtown Missoula. Missoula is soul.
Every item is a part of somebody's life, whether it's an old owner letting go of it or a new owner claiming it for their own. Kevin MAKI, NBC, Montana.